So in gas and liquid, we have two topics: ideal gas and real gas. So the ideal gas obey the ideal gas equation, PV and RT. I'm sure you all remember this. And real gas, just they don't. And the difference between ideal gas and real gas is ideal gas obey the postulates of kinetic molecular theory of gases, in which there is no force of attraction between gas molecules, and the actual volume of gas is negligible compared to the volume of the gas container. And while in real gas or perfect gas, the same, they don't obey the postulate of kinetic molecular theory of gases, so they have a definite volume. They have attractive forces between the gas molecules. And ideal gas, it's a concept, but it does not exist in nature. Okay, and for the ideal gas, we have several formulas. We have the Boyle's law, Charles law, Gay-Lussac law, Avogadro's law, and then the combined gas law. And other than that, we also have the Dalton's law of partial pressure and the Amagat's law, as well as the Graham's law. So for the first is the Boyle's law. In the Boyle's law, the pressure and volume are inversely proportional. So when inversely proportional means when you decrease the pressure, you will get more volume. When you decrease the volume, you will get more pressure, just like this gas when being compressed. And then we have Charles' law. Boyle's law. And the example of Boyle's law is in a pump. Yeah, when you decrease the volume of the gas container, it will have more pressure, just like when you compress, like you press the pump. Gitu. And then next we have the Charles law. So Charles' law states that volume and temperature are directly proportional, meaning that when you heat the gas, the particle of the gas will move faster. Like it has something to do with kinetic energy of the particles. Yeah, when you heat the gas, the particle will move faster. It will expand and it will fill up its container. An example for Charles' law is this hot air balloon in Cappadocia, Turkey. Okay, and then we have the Gay-Lussac's law, which states that the pressure of a given mass of a gas varies directly with the absolute temperature of the gas when the volume is kept constant. Where with Gay-Lussac's law. And here is the formula: P1 per T1 equals to P2 per T2. And then we have Avogadro's law, which states that equal volumes at the same temperature and pressure contains equals number of mole and gas. Wait, and Avogadro's, let me see, yeah, here. Okay, so at a gas at the same temperature and pressure, the same volume of gas will contain the same number of molecules. And then we have, this is the combined PV, P1 V1 per T1 equals to P2 V2 per T2. Other than that, we also have Amagat's law. Amagat's law stated that volume of gas mixture in a container, or the volume of the container, is the sum of partial volume of each of the gases present. And then we also have Graham's law, where the rate of diffusion or effusion of the gas will be inversely proportional to the root of the molar mass of the gas. Jadi just remember the formula: R1 per R2 equals to the square root of M2 per M1, where R is the rate of effusion and M is the molar mass of gas. So the diffusion is like the movement of the gas particles due to concentration gradient from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. We will learn more about this diffusion in transport phenomena later in the semester, and I'm just gonna say good luck for that. And effusion is the same, but it's the movement of the gas through a small hole gitu. Jadi from container, like it's like from a space, like a huge space, and then the gas will flow through a small hole gitu into another space. And then we have this Dalton's law of partial pressure, where the total pressure of the gas mixture can be obtained by adding up the pressure of each gas. Jadi contohnya, let's just say, so P total equals to P1, P2 ini tuh the partial pressure of the gas present in the mixture of the gas. So, and then the partial pressure formula is the PI. PI means, yeah, the partial pressure is the total pressure multiplied with the mole fraction. So example, there's a mixture of hydrogen and helium, 2 moles of hydrogen and then 3 moles of helium, exert a total pressure of 3 atm, and then the partial pressure is just, let's say we want to find the partial pressure of the helium, we just multiply the mole fraction of the helium with the total pressure here. So 3 moles, 3 atm multiplied with 3 moles over 5 moles. And then we got this 1.8 atm. Yeah, that's quite easy for Dalton law of partial pressure. So this is how to find mole fraction. I'm sure you all are familiar with this. See, it's the same. And then we have the compressibility factor. So here is the formula of the compressibility factor. So compressibility factor equals to 1 is for ideal gas. So if the Z, like the more the Z approaches 1, the closer the Z is to 1, the more ideal, like the closer is the gas behavior to ideal gas. Yeah, I hope you understand how I said that. Oke, kalau Z-nya semakin mendekati 1, itu semakin mendekati kondisi gas ideal. Terus moving on to real gas law. Real gas law, we have van der Waals equation. So if you guys pay attention closely, it's the same, yeah, with ideal gas, PV and RT, but here we have this correctional factor of AN square per V square and then minus NB. Jadi N-nya ini ya it's the mole, is the amount of the gas, and A represents the strength of attractive interactions, and then B represents the size of the gas particles. So the A and B here are constants, and udah ada konstannya. So usually in the problem they will state the constant gitu, or the problem will ask you to find the constant by yourself, but that's rare, that's very rare gitu. And then we have this sample problem. One of the most possible problems itu kayak you will be asked to determine like anything, pressure or temperature or volume, using the ideal gas concept, and then you will compare that to the van der Waals equation. Of course, the van der Waals equation, the real gas will be more accurate than just compared to using the ideal gas. So here, using van der Waals equation, calculate the temperature of 20 mole of helium in a 10-liter cylinder at 120 atmosphere pressure. And then since as I said before, sorry guys, my brain is just fucked up right now. As I said before, kalau if the constant will be given in the problem, so don't worry about that, because like the constants are different for every gas, for every condition. So using the van der Waals equation and then the R value, pay attention to the R value. Yeah, if the units of the pressure is atm, you use this 0.0821, but if the unit of the volume is liter, right? But if the unit of the volume is a meter cube and then the unit of the pressure is Pascal, you use the other R equals to 8.3 something gitu. Pay attention to for the use of the R. Actually, it has been summed in the last year's study notes ya. I will give this link later kalau kesulitan nyari kayak. Here there are the values of R depending on the units. Jadi kalau tadi the volume units is liter and then the pressure is in atm, use this R. Here. Now, so using van der Waals equation, we just substitute all of the value from the problems, P, the moles, the volume, and then we are asked to find the T, right? So using van der Waals equation, we can obtain T equals to 696 Kelvin. But if we use ideal gas equation, we just need to use PV and RT, and then we got the T 731 Kelvin. So you can see the difference between these two. That's why the van der Waals equation, like the real gas equation, is always more accurate than the ideal gas equation. After van der Waals, we have the virial expansion. So the BC are constants, which is the function of temperature, and then the Z is the compressibility factor. And I have virial, virial equation. And this is the problem example from Miss Annie's lecture. Calculate the Z and V of the isopropanol at 200 degrees C and 10 bar using the following equation. Again, kan, you will be asked to compare the result from using ideal gas and then the real gas. So using ideal gas, you just use the formula RT plus P because like tadi rumus Z in the Kamerlingh ones, the virial Kamerlingh equation is Z equal to PV per RT. So since it's ideal gas and then Z is 1, so PV equals to RT. You just move to the other side, move it to the other side of the equation. PV equals to RT. And if you want to find V, just move it. Yeah, I just divide it with the pressure, and then we get the volume. Volume is 3.9 centimeter cube per mole. And then if we want to use the virial gas equation, using the second this with two terms, we use this formula. This is since we only have the problems, we only have like two constant, two coefficients B and C. We only need until here. Like if we have D and then we add plus D divided by V cube, and then if we have the D, we add the D divided by the V to the power of 4. Okay, it's a what you say in polynomial series, Taylor series or something gitu pokoknya kalau virial gas. So we use that. So how to do that? We use iteration. Iteration is like approximation gitu to get the most accurate. Like the more the iterations, the more accurate the result is gonna be. So so to start we use the V of the ideal gas as the preliminary gas. Tadi kan V equals to RT plus P kan. Nih V equals to RT plus P. So we substitute the RT plus P with the volume of the ideal gas, and then we substitute the B and C constant, and then the volume of the ideal gas, and then we got 3.5 for the first iteration, and then we continue to the next iteration using the same RT plus P. RT plus P-nya still ada ideal gas, but the V1 kan it's V not right before, and then now we use V1. V1 we use from the V obtained from the previous iteration. Jadi ini, and then now we got the V2, and then we put that again to the next iteration. We do that until we got the smallest difference between the V and then the previous V gitu. Jadi kayak sampai selisih dari ini sama ini ke bawah nanti yang paling kecil gitu, until we get the very small, the smallest difference. And then after doing the fifth iteration, we can obtain the final result, which is 3.4 centimeter cube per mole. And then from that, we can actually obtain the Z. Tadi kan for the previous one kan ideal gas equation. As I explained earlier, that the closer the Z is to 1, the more ideal the gas behavior is. So that's why we in the ideal gas equation we just put Z equals to 1. But now using the virial state, we can actually find the compressibility factor or the Z gitu from the V obtained. Now we can see that the actual Z is 0.8. And then after virial, we have Betti-Bridgman. Oh yeah, we also have, okay, we have Betti-Bridgman. Where is Betti-Bridgman? Oh yeah, there are several differences. Just use the one from Miss Annie's PPT ya. So ini it's actually almost the same with the previous one. We use series gitu. So PV equals to RT plus the beta, gamma, and then I forgot this. Let's say this. Yes.
Delta, Kak.
Oh ya, delta ya, sorry. Delta. Thank you, Jason. Delta. And then we use this to find the beta, the gamma, and then the delta. And then the B is not here, is also the constant you can find here for every gas, gitu. So we just substitute all of the value gitu from the problems. After that, we have Berthelot equation. Wait, Berthelot is here. Yeah, Berthelot. Berthelot equation is the modification of the van der Waals equation. So where the TC here is the critical temperature, and then the PC is the critical pressure. Nah, jadi it is used at low pressure, like around 1 atm or lower gitu. Namanya Berthelot equation. I believe that's all for the real gas law. Ya, bentar, wait ya. Same. And there is the summary of all of that for the real. Tapi ini ya ideal gas law used in stoichiometry problems whose chemical reactions involve gas. Jadi disuruh nyari volume. We are asked to find the volume of the hydrogen gas produced at 299 Kelvin and 1.07 atm when 55.8 grams of zinc metal reacts with excess hydrochloric acid. And here's the reaction. And make sure the reaction is balanced. So yeah, Zn, H, yeah. And then using the ideal gas law with the given temperature and pressure to determine the volume of gas produced. First, we calculate the moles of the hydrogen gas. Jadi kayak it's kind of using stoichiometry ya. So we're kind of converting from this 55.8 gram of zinc, and then we divide that with the molecular weight. Yeah. Okay, we divide that with the molecular weight. And basically it's just converting gitu. So at the end we will have like 0.85. Sorry guys, I kind of forgot this because like it's my friend's part. And then let's say after we get the moles, we just substitute the moles into the PV and RT, the ideal gas law, the ideal gas formula. And then diffusion, I believe I have explained this. And then moving on to the last year's sample problems. So it's still ideal gas. It's easy lah. You can understand this. So there is a problem when 2.035 gram of hydrogen produces a pressure of 1.15 atm in a container with the volume of 5 liter at a temperature of minus 211 degrees Celsius. And then this problem asks the temperature if we add another 2.099 gram of hydrogen and the pressure increases to 3.015 atm. So we have to use like two equations here, equation 1 for the first condition, and then equations 2 for the second condition. So, and then we have to understand that the R is the same in both equations. So R equals to P1 V1, kayak disamain R-nya gitu loh kan. You know the R does not change, right? Like R PV per NT are the same for the second condition, R PV per NT, and then we equates that, yeah, if that's how to say it, equates that gitu. And then from this like equations of R equals to R, we can get this, yeah, to determine the temperature for the second condition after another hydrogen gas is added. So we substitute the value from the problems, the pressure for the second condition, the moles of the grams. So here we don't use, the formula is of moles kan, but and then you know that the formula of moles is the gram or the mass divided with the molecular weight. But since kan it's n per n, so like the molecular, and it's the same gas, the hydrogen, so the molecular weight will be crossed gitu. You get it? Kayak kan gram per mr, since the same, kan gasnya sama nih, jadi kayak ya udah nggak usah pakai molecular weight, pakai masanya aja bisa gitu, because it's the same gas gitu. And then multiply with the temperature for the first condition, and then the pressure from the first condition, and then the second mass after we add this with the 2.099. Jadi kan totalnya 4.134 gram. Terus dapatlah T-nya in Kelvin, and then we convert that to Celsius. And then next we have another example for the ideal gas. So a balloon is designed to be inflated to a volume no more than 2.5 liters. If the balloon is filled with 2 liters of helium at sea level itu 101.3 kPa itu 1 atm, equals to 1 atm, and rises to an altitude at which the boiling temperature of water is only 88 degrees Celsius, will the balloon burst? So you need to use a ratio and proportion to estimate the pressure required for the water to be boiled at 88 degrees Celsius. Kan ini ada hubungannya nih sama kayak kalian tahu kan kalau ngerebus air di puncak sama di Jakarta tuh kan beda ketinggian tuh beda gitu. Kecepatan airnya mendidih gitu kayak. Jadi kalau with the proportion like if the at 1 atm or at 101.3 kilopascal pressure, the boiling temperature of water is 100 degrees Celsius. Jadi kalau 88 itu berapa gitu, itu pakai proportion kayak ya bikin gitu 100 per 1 equals to 88 per x. Nah, dapat, and then we can obtain the x which is the altitude for the boiling water at 88 degrees Celsius. So the x or the pressure is 89.14 kilopascal. And then after we get the P2, ya here itu P2, and then we use Boyle's law. P1 V1 equals to P2 V2. And then we can obtain the volume. So why the balloon will not burst? Karena kan no more than 2.5 liters. Kalau ada more than 2.5 liters, the balloon will burst. But it's not more than 2.5 liters, so the balloon will not burst. Okay, terus ada lagi, an open empty 2-liter plastic pop container has actual volume of 2.05 liter. Is removed from a refrigerator at 5 degrees C and allowed to warm up to 21 degrees C. What volume of air measured at 21 degrees C will leave the container as it warms? So untuk cari volume at the second condition, we need to use the Charles law. Why? Because the known variables are the temperature and volume, right? So ya VT kan kayak Charles law. And then just convert the units to Kelvin, and then just plug in or substitute all of the known values from the problem, and then we can get the volume to 2.16 per liter. And then the problem asks what volume of air measured that will leave the container as it warms. Jadi kayak volume yang tadi dikurangin like this volume, the V2 minus the 2.05. Jadi kan this is the remaining airs gitu, volume of air measured from the container as it warms. Itu kan baru dikeluarin dari kulkas. Jadi kayak sebelumnya 2,05, terus setelah di temperatur yang sama dia kayak berubah gitu jadi 2,16. Terus berapa tuh volume of the air measured at 21 degrees C that leave the container as it warms, jadi dikurangin aja selisihnya jadi 0,11 liter of air. Terus lanjut, a cylinder with a movable piston contains 2 gram of helium at room temperature. More helium was added to the cylinder and the same volume was adjusted so that the gas pressure remained the same. How many grams of helium were added to the cylinder if the volume changed from 2 to 2.7 liter? The temperature was held constant. Nah, ini kan yang diketahuin mass. Dari mass ini kan we can find the moles kan. Berarti yang so then the known variables are the mass, or which from which we can determine the mole, and then the volume. So we use Avogadro's law. So for us to know which equation, when will some equations be used, we have to sorry guys, I just wake up. So for us to determine that when to use what equation, when to use what law gitu, we have to look at the known variables gitu. Tadi kan yang diketahuin volume sama temperature, meaning that we use Charles law, meaning that we need to use Charles law. And here in this case, the known variables are the mass. Jadi kita bisa cari moles, and then the volume. Jadi pakai Avogadro's like that. And from that, we just substitute all of the known values. Then we get the moles when the volume is 2.7 liters. And then dia nanya nih, how many grams of helium added to the cylinder. Nah kan volumenya bertambah. Maksudnya volume bertambah, mole-nya juga bertambah gitu. Jadi tinggal dicari selisih from the second condition ya, second volume minus the first volume. Jadi temulah, so we find 0.17 moles, and then we can convert that back to the grams by multiplying it with the molecular weight. Then we get 0.7 grams of helium added. And then next, balloon of air now occupies 10 liter at 25 degrees C and 1 atm. What temperature was it initially if it occupied 9.40 liter and was in a freezer with the pressure of 0.93 atm. Jadi ini jangan sampai, so don't, like you have to, you have to make it, pokoknya jangan sampai salah kondisi, ini ketuker, the pressure is switched gitu between the first and second conditions, jangan sampai salah. So write all of the given values first if there are so many given variables. So P1, P2, P1, P2, and then T1, and then we have to find the T1. So we use the combined gas law equation, and then we just substitute all of the values known from the problem. Jadi dapatlah T-nya, the initial T, gitu. Ini sebenarnya soalnya kayak it's just easy, tapi dibalik aja. Dibalik yang ditanya initial condition rather than the final condition gitu. And then we move on to real gas. Ini tadi gue udah jelasin belum ya? Oke, belum ya. So calculate the value of the pressure of CO2, 1 mole of CO2 at 373 Kelvin with the volume of container. Ini volume kontainernya ya. Ini volume gasnya, sorry, volume gas at 536 milliliter at 50 atmospheric pressure. Dan karena ini pakai van der Waals, jadi udah diketahuin konstantnya. So since we use van der Waals equation, and then we are given the constant, the AB constant of the van der Waals equation in the problem. So again, we have to compare the results from the ideal gas and then the real gas. And then here we have to calculate the deviation. Tadi kan I believe I have explained how to do this ya. I just substitute all of the given formulas, so and then to calculate the deviation, itu cuman it's just find the difference, selisih, find the difference of the pressure obtained from the first condition and then the second condition, and then use that and then divide that with the actual pressure. Okay, yes, like that. With the actual pressure, kan dari sini dapat pressure-nya 57.1, terus kan diketahui ini 50 atmospheric pressure, terus kayak dikurangi, terus dibagi 50, dibagi yang ini, terus dapat 14,2%. Terus kita bandingin kalau pakai van der Waals. Kalau pakai if we use van der Waals, we obtain the pressure of 49.6 atm, and then we find the difference again between this, nggak bisa diblok lagi, between 49.6 and then 50, kan it's smaller difference. Terus then the deviations is is also smaller gitu. So you can see that the deviation using the Van der Waals equation is much more smaller than the deviation using the ideal gas equation. Gitu. And here is using the virial, the truncated virial gitu, truncated virial equations. But this is quite advanced ya, karena cari B0-nya sendiri. Kan kalau yang di PPT-nya Miss Annie ada kan, like here it's available here, but here is you have to find it by yourself first. And I doubt that this will be present in the midterm or any of her problem gitu. So yeah, just skip this part gitu. Oh yeah, chemical and then chemical equilibrium. I have to switch slides. Kita lanjut. First, chemical equilibrium. I believe you all know that the definition of chemical equilibrium. So just to make it simple, chemical equilibrium tuh kayak a reaction will shift to equilibrium, kayak the reaction or the system will balance itself every time there is changes in the temperature or pressure or volume or concentration that favors the direction of the reaction gitu. Jadi kalau misalnya, for example, like the product, the reactants are increased, like the amount of their reactants are increased, then the reaction will shift to the right to balance the reactants increase gitu. Jadi nanti produknya nambah gitu. And that is known with Le Chatelier's principle. So here is the summary, and here is the guide, yeah. And this is the summary. So when the concentration of the reactants is increased, like the product formation is favored, meaning that the reaction will shift to the right. Karena kan kayak the logic is like when we add more reactant, we'll have more product gitu. It's too much. When the reactants are too much, the reaction will shift gitu to the product because to balance the reactants. And temperature. Kalau pressure kan ini harus ada contohnya nanti ya, kayak site with fewer gas molecules will be favored if the pressure is increased gitu. And if the pressure is decreased, site with more gas molecules is favored. Kayak misalnya kalau contoh reaksi yang dua-duanya gas. Nanti deh. Oke. Temperature dulu. Tapi sebelum ngerti ini udah pada, do you guys know the definition of endothermic and exothermic reaction? Kalau udah tahu bilang tahu, kalau nggak apa-apa. Udah tahu kan? Oke. So just to make a quick review, endothermic reaction itu when the reaction requires heat, requires energy, and exothermic is the other way around where the reaction release energy in the form of heat gitu. Jadi reaction, the heat is the product. So just to make, kan ini rada ribet gitu ya, kayak apa nih endothermic reaction is favored gitu kayak. So first to understand the temperature, kayak the factor of the temperature in Le Chatelier's principle, make sure that you know that the reaction is endothermic or exothermic. For example, if the reaction is endothermic, meaning that the heat is required. So let's just see the heat as the product as the reactant. Let's see it this way, that the heat is the part of the reactants. So when we increase the temperature, it will shift to the right. The equilibrium will shift to the right to balance the temperature or to balance the heat or the reactants gitu. Jadi gitu deh pokoknya kalau. Nah, and then the same with exothermic. Exothermic kan meaning that the reaction releases heat gitu. So the heat in the exothermic reaction is the product. So when we decrease the temperature, so when we decrease the temperature in the system, we are decreasing the product, and then we will have more products gitu. The reaction will shift to the right. The heat is not a product, but let's see it that way. The heat is the energy released from the reaction. But to make it easier to understand, let's see heat as the product. Jadi kalau produknya dikurangin, temperaturnya, heatnya dikurangin, jadi kayak the reaction will shift to the right gitu. Okay. So there are 4 changes ya, 4 factors yang harus diperhatiin in Le Chatelier: temperature, pressure, volume, and concentration. Nah, ini contohnya. And the production of sulfur trioxide is exothermic. Exothermic berarti heat is the product, kan, heat is being released by the reaction gitu. From the reaction, heat is being released. So if we decrease the temperature, gitu, if we lower the temperature, the reactions will shift to the right gitu. The product formation will be favored karena produknya heat ini dikurangin gitu. Jadi kalau ini dikurangin, something in the right in the product, heat is being reduced, kayak the reaction will balance itself gitu loh. The reaction will shift to the right to balance the product reduce. In this case, the heat reduce gitu. Ini contohnya ya. Ini ada contoh lagi deh, wait. Nah ini pressure. Tadi kan the favoring the side of the reaction with the fewer molecules gitu. Kalau if the pressure is being increased, the reaction will favor the wait, gue takut salah. If the pressure is increased, the reaction will favor the side with fewer gas molecules gitu. Berarti mana sih tadi? Wait. Nah, yang fewer gas molecules tuh coba. Wait. Increase the pressure, reaction with produce fewer molecules, pressure to fall again for gaining. Nah, ini kan in this case the sulfur trioxide is the side with the fewer molecules ya, kayak with the fewer molecules. Jadi kalau if we increase the pressure, we will have more product gitu. It needs high pressure as possible gitu. In the economic, and then catalyst in equilibrium and in any reaction, catalyst too will have no effect on the equilibrium, but it will only accelerate the rate of the reaction gitu. And QC and KC, QC and KC tadi gue skip karena keadaan. So Kc is the equilibrium constant, the ratio of the concentrations of product and reactants when the reaction is at equilibrium. Well, while the Qc or the reaction quotient measures the relative amounts of products and reactants present during a reaction at a particular point in time. So as you can see, sebenarnya cara how to calculate, like the formula is quite the same gitu. So the concentration of product per reactant gitu. And then the coefficient of the product and reactant will be the power gitu, kayak jadi pangkatnya. And then we have sample problems. The value of equilibrium constant, berarti QC-nya diketahui 50 for this reaction. And then the concentration is also known ya, 1.2 for the hydrogen, and then 0.6 gitu at equilibrium. And what is the concentration of HI at equilibrium? Jadi tinggal apa sih? Tadi kan biasa kalau soalnya if the problems ask you to find the K, you will substitute the concentrations of the product per reactant, right? But in here you are asked to find the concentration of the product. So but the equilibrium constant is already known. Jadi tinggal di substitute aja ke rumusnya. The K equals to concentration of the product, which is the unknown, divided by the concentrations of the reactants, which are known. Gitu, and from that we can obtain the concentration of the product. Kan ini pasti pangkat 2 terus dijadiin and then the square root of it gitu, 6. And then QC is the same ya formula, so I believe it's clear. Nah ini ini beda gitu. Oh ya, and also homogeneous and heterogeneous. Homogeneous tuh kalau semua components, like all of the reactants, products itu sama kayak apa sih? Sama gas gitu. Kalau gas ya gas, kalau cair sama gitu. Kan heterogeneous in which reactants and product itu in different phases gitu. Bisa jadi reaktannya gas menghasilkan solid, atau reaktannya solid menghasilkan gas atau liquid gitu. Jadi kayak phases of the products and reactants saja. And then the differences and correlations between Kc and Qc. Here kayak if Kc is bigger than Qc, reaction will proceed forward. If the Kc less than Qc, reaction will proceed in the reverse direction. And then equilibrium is when Kc equals to Qc. Correlation between Kc and Kp. Kc and Kp are equilibrium constant of gaseous mixtures. Kc is defined by molar concentration and Kp is defined by the partial pressure of the gas. Kemarin kan kalian udah ngerjain post test gitu kan, yang kayak topiknya ini, and I see that all of you made the right answers, so I believe that you already understand that gitu. Jadi kayak pakai partial pressures. Jadi untuk cari partial pressures pakai mole fractions tadi yang kayak Dalton's law itu. To obtain the partial pressures, you just multiply the total pressure with the mole fractions. And then the partial pressure terus dimasukin ke ini, ke rumus ini. Then you can get the Kp. Oke, ini kan kemarin kalian udah ngerjain ini ya. Like you guys have finished this in the podcast, and gue udah ngomong lupa. And I have said that you guys made the answer correct, so yeah, I believe you understand this. Jadi gue anggap udah ngerti. Terus ada relation between Kc and Kp. Ini ada contoh soal bukan. Nah, ini ada contoh soalnya. Kalau Kc-nya udah diketahuin gitu. So at 300 Kelvin, the reaction mana reactionnya kok hilang? Yaudah, the reaction has the Kc equals to 0.3 mole per liter. If R is equals to 0.082, and then the Kp is, nah kan T-nya udah nih, T-nya diketahui. Like the temperature is known, the R is known, and then the Kc is known, and then the delta N itu harusnya tuh yang produk, reaksinya hilang sih, pokoknya mana ya, bentar. Nah ya, produk koefisien, the total produk, total koefisien produknya dikurangin dengan reaktan, total koefisien reaktannya. Tapi karena reaksinya hilang, jadi kayak gue nggak tahu. Ya pokoknya ini delta N-nya. Terus tinggal just substitute all of this value to this equation gitu. Oke, 10 menit. The property of the equilibrium constant ini kayaknya it's a theoretical banget, dihafalin aja sendiri. Temperature and K value. So just remember that according to the second law of thermodynamics, which you will learn more later in the thermodynamics, chemical engineering thermodynamics ya. But for now, the greater the temperature, the greater the value of K. Jadi T itu kayak apa, selambang yang kayak gini gitu, is proportional to the value of K. Nah ini ada contoh soal. Ada diketahui Gibbs free energy-nya minus 25 min 25 multiplied 10 to the power of 3 joule, and then concentration 1.6 m. Concentration of the, ini kan cuka ya, oke. And then the concentration of the CH3CO min 4 m, and then the hydrogen plus ion 2 m, and then determine the temperature in that state if the value of R is known. Jadi tinggal masukin ke rumus ini. In this case kan yang ditanya T ya. In this case, the T is being asked gitu. So after you determine, first determine the Kc. Kc itu kayak concentration of the product reactant, produknya 4 sama 2 dibagi sama 1,6. Karena ini reactionnya 1 semua koefisiennya, jadi tinggal dibagi aja, dapat 5. Bahasa Indonesia lagi gue. Just for the Kc is the concentration of the product divided by the concentration of the reactants. And then after that, we use this formula of the relationship between the Gibbs free energy, and then the K, and then the T gitu. And to find the T, we move all of this to the left side of the equations. Ya nanti sama lah itu. And then we substitute all of the value, the delta G, the R, and the temperature, and then the K value tadi masih wait. Nah ya, the K kan kayaknya dapat 5 kan, jadi ln 5 dia dapatlah segini temperature. It's quite high, I know, tapi ya ini hasilnya gitu. Oke, Van Hoff equation tuh ini singkatannya ini. pokoknya it states the relationship between the Gibbs free energy and entropy gitu. So the K2 divided by the ln K2 over K1 equals to the delta the enthalpy divided by the R terus multiplied by the 1 over T2 minus 1 over T1. And this is called the Van Hoff equation. Jadi kayak gini. Ada contoh, bukan contohnya ini, tapi ya pokoknya ingat aja kalau equilibrium, just make sure that you know how to find the KC, QC, make sure the coefficient, karena itu, make sure the direction is balanced, because like the coefficient will be the power gitu, and and it's important. Terus make sure you determine, you do the right stoichiometry ya, the balance reaction kayak gini. Make sure you, kalian kemarin nggak ngerjain ini ya, oke, gue jelasin. Pokoknya in a 1 liter container, volume equals to 1, berarti the concentration of these gases in the mixture is A equals to 0.5, B equals to 4, C 6, and then D 8. How many moles of D must be added to reach A of 1? Nah, jadi kayak masukin pertama the beginning is initial, kan ini semuanya koefisiennya 1 ya. Jadi masukin 0.5, 4, 6. Kan ditanya how many moles of D must be added. Jadi kan kayak 8 plus something gitu kan. 8 plus added-nya itu, the moles of D must be added. And then reactions, ini reaction pembatas ya. How do you say it? Pokoknya paling kecil kan, like the smallest of these kan the A. So minus 0.5. And then for the product, add with 0.5. So we get the balance for the D, we get this 7.5 plus the X. Since we already obtained the KC, 24, and then we can use the formula again, the formula to find KC, but now we use this formula to find the D, D. Jadi kan D-nya udah tahu nih, tinggal nyari X-nya. Udahlah, nyari, nanti ketemu kok X-nya.